Hey guys, today I'm going to do a review on a moisturizing product, and as you know, I think it's very important to moisturize, so these kinds of products are very important, so that's why I'm doing this review. And for me, my personal preference at the moment is a combination, and you can see this in my other video, is a combination of oils and a wax-based product. And I have a video going through a whole list of things that I had laying around the house and just the importance of moisturizing. So just to tell you, I do the oil, then I do the wax-based product. But not everyone likes oily things and they can't stand it on their skin, or their skin doesn't react well to it, so they want something that's a little bit less greasy. So I have a product for you today that does all that and has some amazing ingredients in it, so that's why I want to show it to you. The product that I'm talking about is called Dermelect Cosmeceuticals, and it's their Rejuvenail Fortifying Nail and Cuticle treatment. So it's almost very lotion-like. It looks, actually, when you open it up, it's a white cream. It looks very rich, but doesn't feel heavy or rich on your skin. In fact, I'll put it on my skin, and if you go ahead and rub it in, it turns almost into silk on your skin, and that has to do with the types of ingredients that are in there. So it's definitely not greasy. So if you're not a fan of oils and butters, this would be a very good substitute for that, because if you like what you're using, you're going to use it more often and have very good results on your own nails. So normally what I would do is take a very small part or portion and then put a little bit on each of my fingers. Then you go ahead and massage it in, stimulate the cuticles. Maybe they'll grow a little faster. That's not guaranteed, but I like to think so. So you're going to massage it in on all of your fingers. And the feeling afterwards is not greasy. It's very silky. So hopefully the people that don't like lots of grease on their fingers are going to use this type of product and stick to it, because it will make a difference. Now, the other thing, aside from putting it on your actual cuticle, go ahead and put it underneath your nail. And what I do is just use a small brush to go ahead and work it in there. You can do that on the outside of the cuticle as well if you wanted to. Now, let's discuss some of the ingredients. I have a list here, so I'm going to look down so I can not forget some of the important parts. So there's very common conditioners in here, as well as some very unique ingredients that I want to discuss individually, because the price of this moisturizer is $18 for 1 ounce. And I'll talk about the cost a little bit in comparison to some other cuticle moisturizers as well. But let's discuss the ingredients. So some of the more common conditioners that you'd see: shea butter, almond oil, glycerin, vitamin E, panthenol, things like that. That's common, and you'll see those often. Now I have a blog post about more detail, in-depth review on this product, so if you'd like to go visit there, check it out, but I didn't list everything. Some of the more unique ingredients that I personally like, or at least like to see, is the number one ingredient, sort of what gives us the hydration and the silky feel, is the alkyl benzoate. So this is that non-greasy goodness that we feel on our skin that we like, and that's what's going to give us some nice hydration and moisture on our cuticles. Now, wax is also in here, which I like wax. I've told you guys that before, so that's nice to see. One of the main ingredients here is also hydrolyzed keratin. Now, I have my own opinions on keratin in certain products. Whether it does anything to bind to my own keratin and make cross linkages and make my nails stronger, does that really happen? Do I believe that? That's personal preference. I personally would like to see more scientific work done on that claim, but I still like to see that in the ingredient list. And if you want to know more about that, I have a blog post on protein treatments as well. Yeah, the other one, the next one I don't know how to pronounce, but every time I see it in an ingredient list, I really like it because it has some amazing properties. So it's spelled Allantoin, Allantone? Not sure. I read these things many times and I don't know how to pronounce them, but it doesn't really matter. It has unique exfoliating properties and also hydrating and moisturizing properties. So I like to see it in there. When I see it in lotions, I like to see it in there, and I am more likely to purchase that lotion. Now, one key ingredient in here that they talk about is this pentavetin, which is actually its marketing name, but it has a chemical name, saccharide isomerate. And this is another unique ingredient where it's comprised of carbohydrates that are similar to some of the carbohydrates that are in your nail plate. So they have a unique way of providing moisture and holding moisture in your nail. That's interesting. There is an ingredient called sodium hyaluronate, which is very similar to hyaluronic acid. I first heard about this ingredient when I would watch Adrienne Arpel on the HSN networks. She's always fun. She's like, you know, very old but doesn't look old because she, I guess, uses fancy stuff, whatever. So she used to always talk about hyaluronic acid, and it is also very unique and has its unique way of providing moisture and hydration to the skin. So although that ingredient is not in there, it's very similar and has similar properties. The last ingredient that I liked, retinol palmitate. This ingredient is similar to retinoic acid, or if you're familiar with Retin-A, it says used for acne and wrinkles. Its first use was used for acne, and then they sort of found that it's good for wrinkles as well. So in any case, it's not retinoic acid, but it has similar properties where it's exfoliating and anti-aging, and also provides moisture to the skin. So all of those really nice higher end ingredients are in this moisturizer. So I think it's well worth the price. And so if there are any shortcomings, I would say it's the price, but I think it's well worth the price based on the ingredients that are in there. The other thing that I didn't quite care for is the humongous size that this thing comes in. So it's a 1 ounce container. I normally like to keep my things in a much smaller container because they're much easier to throw into a purse or a book bag, so that they're within reach, and I will tend to use them more often if they're easy to use and within reach. But I think just like with some of my other moisturizers, I depot them and put them into something smaller, and so I have no problem doing that as well. I mean, it's a quick fix. In terms of price, so this 1 ounce container is $18. You don't use a lot of it, so it should last you for months and months and months. Many months, at least 6 months. And in comparison to some of the other popular moisturizers, I have a list on my blog. For example, the Lush Lemony Flutter, it's about $10 per ounce, as well as the Burt's Bees Cuticle Lemon Butter. They're both about $10 per ounce, as opposed to $18. And then some other cheaper alternatives, the Hard as a Hoof Nail Strengthener, which is actually also non-greasy like this one, because the other ones are more greasy. That one is about $7 per ounce. but it does not have the same types of ingredients that are in here, so it's definitely not the same. Then Palmer's cocoa butter formula, which I use often, and that's what I have in here right now. And that one's quite cheap, $1 per ounce, just to give you an idea. And then something like olive oil, which I never actually did the math, but it's really cheap. It's like 29 cents per ounce. But again, that's a greasy option, so if you're not into greasy options, that won't work for you. So this is a fantastic, although it's a little bit higher end, you're paying for high quality ingredients that are going to make a difference. So I was really impressed with how well it hydrated, yet didn't leave the skin greasy, and that's all due to some of the more unique ingredients that are in here. So if you want to give it a try, I think it's well worth its price. So let me know what you think if you do try it.